ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. And guess who's back? It's time for the Lightning Flash update right here on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am. Mr. Controversy. And the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This, of course, is the Lightning Flash update for March 23rd, 2018. And this week in wrestling, it was filled with a lot of storyline progression. There was some very good wrestling across all brands. And I have some news and some possible return dates on some superstars that could be returning at WrestleMania or possibly after WrestleMania. So we're going to get things started with the weekly show reviews as per usual. Monday Night Raw kicked off with Kurt Angle talking about Brock Lesnar being a little late to Monday Night Raw. Obviously, I actually thought that Lesnar wasn't going to show up at all. Roman actually came out. He came through the crowd to a shower of boos, by the way. And by the way, Angle, before Roman came out, mentioned Roman's suspension. And again, it was cheered just like last week. Just hope everybody got that. Next, what happened was Roman Reigns, he asked for Brock. He wanted Brock to come out right now. Someone's got to represent the main event of WrestleMania, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, long story short, then, after all of that ranting and raving by Roman, the U.S. Marshal came out and they attempted to arrest Roman Reigns. They handcuffed Roman, and then Roman started to fight back against the U.S. Marshal. Then, out of nowhere, Lesnar comes out, he storms the ring, and basically what happened next was a dialed-down version of what the Bludgeon Brothers did to the Usos in the New Day at Fastlane. Lesnar was suplexing Roman around the ring, he was beating the hell out of him with a steel chair, people were cheering and chanting for Lesnar, might I add. Then, after an F5 to Roman, Lesnar takes a hike, and as Roman Reigns was being hoisted up on a gurney by the medical staff, they were chanting, "You deserve it." They were chanting, "You deserve it," as Roman Reigns was getting carried away on a gurney. After that, Lesnar came out again and he flipped the gurney, and people went even more nuts. People come to the events to see Roman Reigns get his ass kicked. Why do you think that video on YouTube has so many views? Why do you think it has 6 million plus views? Because people want to see Roman Reigns hospitalized. Anyway, moving on. Alexa Bliss cut a promo with Mickie James. Why is Mickie James and Alexa Bliss still buddy-buddy? Like, what has Alexa Bliss and Mickie James done together over the course of the last month that has even made sense of them being all buddy-buddy? But Alexa said she didn't need Nia. Asuka came out. She defeated Bliss via countout as Bliss took a hike. Nia Jax then came out, attacked Mickie, and attacked Bliss. Bliss then went to Kurt Angle and said that Nia Jax should be arrested, but Kurt Angle made the Raw Women's title match official for Mania. It's going to be Bliss, and it's going to be Nia Jax. The only good thing that I see coming out of this match is Carmella cashes in her Money in the Bank briefcase, and she becomes Raw Women's Champion. She's champion on Raw. Asuka's champion on SmackDown. Trade for a trade. Next segment that happened was actually pretty decent. Strowman came out. He basically was saying how Kurt Angle wanted me to find a partner, but I don't think I need a partner. I think I can take on the Raw Tag Team Champions on my own. But he's going to find a partner. Cesaro and Sheamus then came out, and Cesaro said, you can't just find a partner and automatically say you're going to win the titles because, obviously you need to do everything with your partner in order to become a great team. You got to train together, you got to eat together. And then he said you got to sleep together. And after that, the crowd had their little LOL moment of the night. Sheamus said, grow up. Are you in 6th grade? He means dorm together. I had a feeling that that was scripted based on the way that they reacted to it. Anyway, Strowman then defeated Cesaro in a decent match. I thought these guys would have gotten more time based on the in-ring talent that they are and how good of wrestlers they are. But anyway, Strowman defeated Cesaro. That was that. It was a decent match for what it was. The Revival then defeated Titus Worldwide. Another decent match for what it was, but the crowd didn't really care about it. We all know whose fault that is. The Revival then announced that they are in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now, on the subject of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, if I was to pick a winner right out of the gate as of right now, I would pick Elias. Obviously, he has a hot streak going on as of lately. I wouldn't mind seeing Elias walking out with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy. Mark Henry is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, class of 2018. Congratulations to Mark Henry. He's had a very entertaining career. We had another Bayley and Sasha Banks segment, and it was actually turning into a decent segment until Absolution came along. But long story short with that, Absolution defeated Sasha and Bayley, and now they're putting Sasha Banks and Bayley in the Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania. They're putting them in the Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania, so not only are we not getting Sasha Banks and Bayley for the title at WrestleMania, we're not getting them at all. The best thing that can come out of this is Bayley wins, only furthering the storyline with Sasha Banks, and then Sasha Banks could turn heel the night after WrestleMania. I would love to see that. John Cena then, again, stepping up his game in promos. John Cena has been great with his promos in the last couple weeks. He addressed The Undertaker. He said he wanted an answer from The Undertaker. He wanted The Undertaker to do something. And let me tell you something. I actually heard a report from Meltzer and Cage Side Seats that The Undertaker is not scheduled to appear on Monday Night Raw until the go-home show before WrestleMania. Very, 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 very clever right there. Holding off until the very last moment in which The Undertaker has had enough. He'll come back as the American Badass, Big Evil, and boom, we got a match for Mania. This led to Kane coming out and chokeslamming Cena. We got Cena and Kane next week. Obviously, that's going to result in Cena beating Kane. And then Kane can go run for mayor of Tennessee, get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and never be seen again on WWE television. Then, we had the Balor Club defeating the Miz Taraj. It was another decent match for what it was. Then my favorite part of Raw, and I was looking forward to this all week, and I was very pleased with how this came out. The Ultimate Deletion. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt brawling at the Hardy family compound. They started off in the ring with Rebecca Hardy playing music on the piano, Bray Wyatt walking through the dark forest with his lantern. We started in the ring. We went to the dilapidated city in which Matt Hardy did something to make Bray Wyatt remind everyone of how Randy Orton burnt down the Wyatt family compound. Very creative there. We went to the Cemetery of Obsolete Men, I believe, in which Bray Wyatt was wheeling a kendo stick everywhere, and Matt Hardy was dodging it at every single point. Then we went to the Dome of Deletion. Matt Hardy, he took a ladder, rammed it into Bray Wyatt. Then he started looking to his side, and his right and his left, and he started going, "Chair of wheels! Mower of lawns! Wonderful!" And at this point, I was laughing my ass off with a huge smile on my face. Matt Hardy got on the lawnmower and was going to run over Bray Wyatt until Bray Wyatt propped himself up in the spider position. Then Bray took Matt Hardy into the area around the Lake of Reincarnation, and he flipped over the dilapidated boat, Skarsgård, and then Senor Benjamin was underneath the dilapidated boat. He threw a globe at Wyatt, and he started singing, "He's got the whole world in his hands." Jeff Hardy, his brother Nero, showed up. Then we had Matt Hardy hit the Twist of Fate, and he won. Then he threw Bray Wyatt into the Lake of Reincarnation, and that was it. And I do have some news on Bray Wyatt. I thought it was very well done. The only complaint I have here is I wish it could have gone longer. To be quite honest, I would have loved to see these two brawl through all 3 hours of Monday Night Raw. It was that good. And I also think that WWE just did this just to test it out at first, so that way they will introduce another one in the future, probably with more stunts and spots. Raw was decent, wasn't the greatest, wasn't the best, but I very much enjoyed the Ultimate Deletion. SmackDown Live, it kicked off with Daniel Bryan, and let me tell you something. If there's one thing that we can all relate to when it comes to Daniel Bryan, It is the struggle that he went through, because everyone goes through that struggle where you want to do something so badly, but you can't do it. And you just keep on fighting to do it, and fighting to do it, and fighting to do it. You fight to do it no matter what, because you know you want it. And that type of moment, it's very rare. It's very rare in real life. He didn't just go through struggle on camera. He went through struggle backstage as well. And let me tell you something. If it wasn't for Daniel Bryan, we would have never had such a great WrestleMania moment that we did at WrestleMania 30. Bryan likes to name all the things he's grateful for. I'm grateful for Daniel Bryan. I really am. Because he has provided me with a character that I could live vicariously through on WWE television. There was a thank you Brie chant going on. And of course, Daniel Bryan teased that little return at WrestleMania, which is what I believe we are getting. Next, Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Rusev in a good match. It was shaping up to be a very good match. Shinsuke Nakamura rolled up Rusev for the victory, and I like this little detail that they added. Styles was on the receiving end of a beatdown by Rusev in English last week. Nakamura had to save him. This week, Styles was taking his time just like Nakamura was to get in the ring, but Nakamura held his own, and he fought off Rusev in English by himself. Nice little touch. They're booking Nakamura stronger than AJ. We also had a little entertaining segment backstage with Nakamura and AJ. Nakamura went, AJ, I didn't need your help. AJ goes, yeah, I know. I was out there. Nakamura turns to AJ. He goes, oh, wait, one more thing. Then AJ goes, wait, let me guess. You're going to beat me at WrestleMania. Nakamura goes, you should have more confidence. But yes, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. I like what they're doing. They're doing that little tease with Nakamura and AJ. And let me tell you something. I'm going to be very interested to see what they do in these next couple of weeks. I'm actually looking for a little physical contact with Nakamura and AJ Styles. I would like to see a little brawl ensue, just over being the best, because that's what the WWE Championship's all about. It's all about being the best. Anyway, moving on, we had Corbin versus Dillinger. That was a very quick match. Dillinger botched the End of Days, or Corbin and Dillinger botched the End of Days. That's going to be on Botchamania for the week. Both men are in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Then we had Natalya defeating Charlotte in a very good match. I was expecting it to go a lot shorter, but these two worked very well together. Carmella actually tried to cash in, but the bell never rang. And then Carmella provided the distraction as Natalya rolled up Charlotte for the victory. So I'm assuming we're probably going to get a SmackDown Women's title match in the coming weeks, in which Charlotte will retain, and then she will have her final face-off with Asuka before WrestleMania. Luke Harper then defeated Jimmy Uso after the Usos cut yet again a great promo. Usos are up there. Usos are up there with the number one promo cutters of the modern era. Right up there with Heyman, right up there with The Miz, right up there with Cena. They're quickly becoming great superstars all around, in character, in promo, in wrestling, ring psychology, everything. This was actually a decent match, and Luke Harper, the viciousness of Luke Harper prevailed over the Uso Penitentiary. Obviously, this is only going to enhance the Bludgeon Brothers toward their tag team title match at WrestleMania. Jinder Mahal addressed Mania. This was actually one of the few times where Jinder wasn't trash on the microphone. Rude then interrupted and said Mahal deserves no respect. Orton came out and he actually said something that got a legit pop. Would you please shut up? And there's a reason why you're so successful, because you got your little stooge. You suck, Jinder. A brawl then ensued, and it ended in a three-way stare-down between all three competitors in the United States title match. We are getting a triple threat match at Mania. Now, I realize a lot of people see this match as the sleeper. I mean, put it this way. I see Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax as the sleeper unless Carmella cashes in. But more likely than not, triple threat matches are usually very good. I mean, let's take a look at the Bobby Roode, Baron Corbin, and Dolph Ziggler triple threat match for the U.S. title at Clash of Champions. No one thought anything going into that match. But by the end of the pay-per-view, that ended up being the best match of the night. So do not sleep on this U.S. title match. Next week, we're actually getting Orton and Rude versus Mahal and Sunil Singh. The Riot Squad, Becky Lynch and Naomi are all in the Women's Battle Royal, and then Becky Lynch and Naomi defeated the Riot Squad. No one really cared about that. Bryan then addressed Owens and Zayn. Bryan then said, you won. Shane McMahon, he left. And he gave you a match at WrestleMania, and you still attacked your boss. You guys are fired. And what happened afterwards got perhaps the biggest pop of the year. I don't think anything will even come close to this. Daniel Bryan, he was punched down by Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn decided to take matters into their own hands. Bryan then did a double leg takedown and started pounding the hell out of Zayn. He started fighting back against Owens and Zayn, doing the running corner drop kicks and the yes kicks, and the entire crowd was going yes. That was very reminiscent of what happened with Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt when Bryan turned on Bray Wyatt inside that steel cage on Monday Night Raw. That's how over Daniel Bryan really is. This actually ended with Owens and Zayn standing tall after Owens and Zayn delivered a powerbomb on the apron to Daniel Bryan. Very good episode of SmackDown. Better than Raw. On to 205 Live. 205 Live started off with Hideo Itami versus Lince Dorado, ending in a DQ. It was actually shaping up to be a decent match. The tensions are rising between Hideo Tozawa and the Lucha House Party. I like that they are instituting some undercard feuds in 205 Live. TJP then defeated Kenneth Johnson. Kenneth Johnson was, of course, involved in the inaugural Cruiserweight Classic. That was basically a squash to get TJP a win. Drake Maverick then announced a fatal four-way match next week between Tozawa, Kalisto, TJP, and the returning Buddy Murphy, and I believe he said it was a number one contenders match. So whoever wins this match should be going on to face either Mustafa or Alexander for the Cruiserweight title down the line. Very much looking forward to that. Now the main event. Mustafa Ali versus Drew Gulak in a semi-final matchup to qualify for Mania. I always said that the greatest matchup in 205 Live history took place between Mustafa Ali and Drew Gulak on the July 18th episode of 205 Live last year. Mustafa Ali, he was eliminated in the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic, and he had the in-ring ability, but no one seemed to care about him at all. Drew Gulak, he was given a character in which he wasn't familiar with, but he turned it into the best gimmick for 205 Live at that time, holding up picket signs and doing PowerPoint presentations. He turned into the most entertaining guy on Monday Night Raw at that time. Never mind Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was doing his thing as the Monster Among Men before he was playing a bass guitar and smashing it over Elias. Drew Gulak was like bringing himself out of obscurity. And then you inserted Mustafa Ali into the mix. A feud so simple, it extended over the course of 3 months. This feud could have been a Cruiserweight title feud. But obviously you had Neville and Austin Aries at the time, so that was pretty much self-explanatory. But this feud was so great, it got the crowd invested in what they did in that 2 out of 3 falls match back in July. Almost 20 minutes they were in the ring for, and the right man won. Mustafa Ali won. Not only did Mustafa Ali win, both men came out looking like legit competitors, and both men were appreciated for what they could do. It put both men on the map. The match that they had this past Tuesday on 205 Live, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but this was better than their 2 out of 3 falls match. Because of the story that they told and the energy that the crowd gave back. For a 205 Live, they were fully invested in Gulak and Mustafa so much that they were chanting and cheering for both men. Now the first best match and the second best match of 205 Live both belong to Mustafa Ali and Drew Gulak. That's how good they work together, and that's how good they are. Mustafa Ali and Drew Gulak, they tore each other apart. Ali doing spinning heel kicks and DDTs. Drew Gulak, he threw Mustafa Ali off the announce table, and Mustafa Ali landed back first on the floor on the outside. That was very reminiscent of when The Undertaker back body dropped Triple H onto the floor at WrestleMania 27. Gulak even dumped Mustafa into the timekeeper's area. They had the crowd eating out of the palm of their hand, and they got Mustafa Ali that much more over. Mustafa Ali was nothing in the Cruiserweight Classic. They turned him into one of the biggest baby faces on 205 Live. That's a testament to how good Triple H is. Mustafa Ali wins with a DDT in the 054. Now we're going to get Mustafa and Cedric in a potential show stealer at WrestleMania. I don't know about you, but I think 205 Live right now is the A-wrestling show, no matter how you look at it. Fantastic matchup. Great episode of 205 Live. Now we are on to NXT. NXT started off with Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa doing the same thing that he did the past couple of weeks. And he actually took the microphone and he uttered the words, "He's gone," screaming into the microphone. He's not coming down the aisle. He's gone for good. And then Ciampa just dropped the microphone and he started soaking in all the heel heat. And then he went around the crowd and he started ripping signs. He ripped the sign in front of a woman, one of those big Johnny Gargano signs. He ripped the sign in front of an old lady. And then he got to a person with a sign that looked like it was blocking their face. He took the sign. Johnny Gargano was underneath the mask. And he jumped the barricade and he started pounding the hell out of Ciampa before security took him out. Great segment to start off the show. Tyler Bate was informed that he could not compete in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, so him and Trent Seven are out. Roderick Strong took Tyler Bate's place, and he chose Pete Dunne as his partner. And Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne defeated Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch in a very good, hard-hitting first-round matchup in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Very much looking forward to their match against Sanity next week. And we got Authors of Pain and the Street Profits next week. NXT shaping up to be probably NXT and 205 Live right now. That's all you need right now. 205 Live and NXT is all you need for the week of wrestling. But I'm watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown to see how the rest of WrestleMania will shape up to be. Shayna Baszler was then on commentary for Ember Moon's matchup. And Ember Moon defeated Aaliyah. It was a nice, quick victory. Obviously, this is the build toward the women's title match at TakeOver. Should be a good match. Almas, the NXT champion, Andrade Cien Almas, then attacked Raul Mendoza before Mendoza even got down to the ring for his match. And Andrade Cien Almas called out Aleister Black. He said, "I'm calling you out for your disrespect, you piece of crap. Face me next week like a man." So, Andrade Cien Almas showing some intensity, showing some anger. He wants to be respected by Aleister Black. Very much looking forward to that. William Regal. He is also making an announcement next week that will change NXT forever. Obviously, it's the announcement of the North American Championship. Then in the main event, Adam Cole defeated Cassius Ohno in a great match. Cassius Ohno, let me tell you something about Cassius Ohno. I really do hope that when Cassius Ohno gets up to the main roster, he's really treated like a star. Because, like, he is in NXT, but really, Cassius Ohno is really being used to put people over. He's one of those guys where he can put on a great match, but at the end of the day, he needs to lose because the other guy needs to rub even more. Adam Cole was booted out of the air by Cassius Ohno. Adam Cole went for a leapfrog. Cassius Ohno booted him right down to the floor. It looked absolutely brutal. We also had a combination of 3 super kicks, a patented kneecap brainbuster, and the Shining Wizard to the back. And Adam Cole walks away with the victory against Cassius Ohno in a very good match. So Adam Cole shaping up to be a major player once again. Adam Cole, let me tell you something. If they're going all in on Adam Cole, I can see him walking out of TakeOver with the tag titles and the North American title. Adam Cole, man. Adam Cole's destined for big things. Mark my words on that. Next, onto the news, rumors, and reports. So my first report that I got here. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, Big Cass and Samoa Joe were both backstage at Monday Night Raw. So, my calculations are correct right here. Big Cass could either return in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, or he could return the night after WrestleMania. Very much looking forward to how they play out Big Cass's return. And Samoa Joe, obviously we know where they're going with Samoa Joe. Obviously we know that I called Samoa Joe to be Braun Strowman's tag team partner. Can you imagine a team between Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe fighting the Authors of Pain at SummerSlam? How can you say no to that? How can you say no to a battle of the behemoths like that? That right there, that's a tag team match if I ever seen one. Next, I actually got a couple of reports from Mr. Slice Wrestling. You can go follow him on Twitter, @Slice Wrestling. And I quote his first tweet. Report: the AJ Styles injury at MSG was an angle to cover up a real injury Styles suffered earlier last week. Officials are taking all precautions in the event Styles cannot compete at WrestleMania 34, including backup plans. We'll have updates and those backup plans posted shortly. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on Slice Wrestling. Obviously, we know what happened with AJ. I actually heard a recent interview about AJ's injury. He said he's going to make it to WrestleMania even if he has to hobble on one leg. That's determination by AJ. By the looks of things, if he was walking around and doing something on SmackDown, if he was walking around backstage, he was walking around at ringside, it must be just a minor injury. It must be just a minor injury, or they're just playing something off as a storyline. You never really know with WWE, mainly because of the fact that they are actually very good at injury angles, because no one wants to see anyone get injured nowadays. But AJ Styles, I'm guessing it's just a minor injury. I wouldn't be too stressed about this whole issue going into WrestleMania. We should, 1000%, we should be able to get Nakamura and AJ Styles. Do not stress over this. Do not. Another report from @Slice Wrestling, and I quote, Jim Ross will be announcing at WrestleMania 34, and early creative plans are for him to call the Undertaker versus John Cena match. This is a very good decision right here. You have Jim Ross calling the Undertaker's possible last match, because I really don't see who the Undertaker has to go up against anymore. This is the match that we've wanted for years now. The Undertaker and John Cena, two of the biggest stars fighting at WrestleMania. And now, the Undertaker comes back as the American Badass. He retires as the American Badass. He can do his Hall of Fame speech as the American Badass. It's a damn good induction right there. I expect the Undertaker to win, and I expect the Undertaker to be inducted into the Hall of Fame next year. Next, I got a report from Dave Meltzer. Mr. Meltzer said Bray Wyatt will undergo some repackaging after being thrown in the lake of reincarnation. This is also a very good decision. I am very much looking forward to see what they do with Bray Wyatt's character and how they resurrect him from the ashes. Obviously, we know the creative botches with Bray Wyatt's character in the past. They missed huge opportunities with him. It really all started with John Cena back at WrestleMania 30. But if they play their cards right, with Bray Wyatt, I can really see Bray Wyatt joining Matt Hardy, and you add Jeff Hardy into the mix. You can have a 3-man group. You can have Bray Wyatt go for like the Intercontinental title. Matt and Jeff, they can become tag team champions. They could be running Monday Night Raw with this Woken gimmick. I would very much like to see that. That right there, the news of Bray Wyatt being repackaged, that is a great idea. He could definitely come back as a babyface or a revamped heel. You never know what Bray Wyatt is going to do. Obviously, the repackaging should help him, and it should aid either Matt Hardy or whoever he's going to be paired with in the future. So, good on WWE's part to repackage Bray Wyatt. My final report of the show. According to Wrestling News Co., Asuka will remain undefeated until next year's WrestleMania, where she will defend her title against Ronda Rousey in a possible first time ever women's WrestleMania main event. This is a meet in the middle situation. Number one, they are doing something right with Asuka. She is to remain undefeated until next year, maybe even beyond that if you want to continue the streak. That is a very good decision, number one. Number two, I'm going to see Asuka defend the title at WrestleMania 35, because I will be attending WrestleMania 35 in MetLife Stadium. But number two, Ronda Rousey, I don't feel, has earned anything thus far. She hasn't even had her debut yet, and she's already being promoted as one of the biggest stars on WWE television. Now, I get it, but in order for Ronda Rousey to be worthy of that spot, she really needs to prove herself. She has an entire year to prove herself, and I assume she will be able to prove herself in the coming months, possibly at SummerSlam. We're going to have a big match at SummerSlam, probably against Charlotte or Becky Lynch or even Sasha. You never know. But I expect Ronda Rousey to improve. But if she is to break Asuka's streak, you better wow me. You better wow me. You better wow the crowd. You better improve majorly, and you better reach new heights. You better surpass Asuka's heights if you wish to beat Asuka's streak and me to be okay with it. Because at this very moment, Ronda Rousey is not worthy of ending the streak, nor does Ronda Rousey need to end the streak. If it was up to me, I would have Ember Moon end the streak. I was actually hoping that Ember Moon would have ended the streak at TakeOver, mainly because of the fact that they've built her up to a position where she was just so poised on getting revenge for what Asuka did to her back at TakeOver Orlando. But they kept Asuka undefeated. I'm not really complaining about that now, but I would love to see Ember Moon face off against Asuka next year. Ember Moon can win the Royal Rumble next year, and Ember Moon, boom, with Asuka in the main event of WrestleMania 35. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. As of course, I would like to thank each and every one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the DJ Storms. Do not forget to check out the Lightning Flash Update next week. And do not forget to check out the rundown for NXT TakeOver New Orleans, which I will be posting a couple days before the event. Do not forget to check out the rundown for WrestleMania, which I will be posting on April 7th. And of course, do not forget, tomorrow, March 24th, 2018, Rescue Mania at Felician University at 7 p.m. I will be attending, as will the entire DJ Storms production crew. We're going to see a lot of top-tier independent wrestlers like Adam Payne, former WCW superstar Crowbar, Gunner Trash, Prince Akhenaten. I will be there front row if you want to talk to me, if you want to take some pictures, you want to talk wrestling, I will be there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. You have a great weekend, and I'll catch you at Rescue Mania.